Hi, I'm Greg Schreier. I'm the Metalworking Market Manager at Camfield Air Pollution Control.
And I'm Brian Richardson, Technical Departments Manager here at Camfield APC.
Today we're going to talk to you about the proper operation of your air filtration system.
Now we're going to cover such items as the startup, operations, maintenance, and service of your dust collector.
And we recommend that you watch this entire video so you become comfortable with all the information and your system will work reliably for you for many years to come.
One of the first things I'd like to cover you as a Camfield customer would be the appearance of your crate whenever you receive it with the Gold Series dust collector inside of it. Some of the information that's on the outside of the crate and then different ways of dismantling the crate whenever you get ready for that process. First thing I'd like to bring to mention is the sales order number that's located on the end of the crate and also on the side. That sales order number pertains to the lot of collectors that was ordered at that time that went to Amada. The J designation, or which could be any other designated letter, is specific to that dust collector itself. That information matches what is on the nameplate of the door on the dust collector that you'll be setting up on your equipment. What I'd like to do from here is I'm going to dismantle the ends and the sides of the crate and then discuss the center frame with you once I get that done. The uncovering sequence I just showed you is obviously going to be a little bit more difficult in a real life situation. A properly created dust collector would have a lot more staples and nails in it to make sure that the product arrives at its destination in good condition. By removing the covering of the crate, the first thing you'll be able to see is that the end caps are the main part of the structure holding the dust collector in. You have the dust collector laid down. It's laying on the rubber shipping feet that are attached to the side of the collector. What you would want to do if you wanted to cut this crate apart would be concentrate on these end caps. What I would recommend doing would be to cut the main table forks coming into the end cap sections, cut your blue straps holding the collector to the pallet, and that would let you proceed to your stand-up procedure. Once you get the sides of your crate removed, you'll want to get your crane or your hoist positioned above the collector so that you can get the chains hooked up to do the lift. You want to make sure that you're connected to all 4 points and that all your chains are the same length. Once you get the collector stood up and out of the crate, you'll notice that there are some shipping pads that are still attached to the side of the collector. These are for shipping only, but they are meant to stay with the collector. There's no need to remove them. They're a permanent fixture to the collector from this point forward. One thing that you do need to do once you uncrate it, get it stood up, is just check for minor shipping damage. Make sure you don't have any busted parts. I would especially check the face of the controller, the hoses, the diaphragm valves, and the elbows that hook to the tubing on the front of the collector. And also I would check the filter regulator here to make sure there's not any busted parts from the shipping process on it. Once everything's cleared, you can move forward with your installation from that point.
Hi, I'm Ashley with Camfield Air Pollution Control. It's now time to get you registered for your 12-year warranty. You can do this by scanning the QR code located on the tag with your smart device or following the link located below. And as an added bonus, we get you set up for a free spare parts kit. And if you have any other dust collectors, check out the back side of the tag for instructions to get set up for a free Hemi-Pleat filter. And we want to congratulate you, thank you, and welcome you to the Farr family.
A couple of items that you may have noticed whenever you were uncrating your collector before your startup. One of these would be the smoke detector. What happens with the smoke detector is when this item detects smoke inside the collector, it sends a relay to the controller, shuts the controller down, and also provides an interlock for your blower so that the blower is shut off and starts to ramp down its airflow so that you don't have a blowtorch effect going on with your collector at that point. The other item that you'll see is the sprinkler connection on the back of the housing here. Hooking this up and not hooking this up can be the difference between replacing filters or replacing the whole collector. What happens is whenever the temperature gets up to a certain level, and I believe it's around 150 degrees inside the dust collector, the sprinkler system will kick on, provide water flow into the collector and put your filter flames out so that you won't have a continuous burn going on inside the housing. One of the items I'd like to discuss with you, and probably one of the most important things, at least in conjunction with your cleaning system of your collector, is the filter regulator option that is provided with your dust collector when it comes in. You have a 1/2 inch MPT air coming in. You have a nice lockout, tag out, shut-off valve that is provided with your filter regulator. And then you have the filter regulator itself with a set knob on top and a nice oil-filled gauge here that will blast through the pulses and not destroy itself. One of the main functions of this filter regulator is to make sure that you have a consistent 90 to 100 psi to your air header at all times to make sure that you're getting the optimum cleaning pulse into your filter whenever it's full of dust. Okay, what I'd like to do now is discuss two of the most important things you can do with your dust collector once you get it set up and ready to operate. One of the main things is that in order to get a proper efficiency through your filters, you need to damper your airflow back to make sure that you're not getting full airflow through the filters until you get a good dust collection on the surface of the filter. This allows the premium efficiency of the filter to be present. The second thing is that you want to pull dust off of your process, which is the main goal of what this dust collector does. So the startup procedure would be the dust collector comes in with the handle set at the startup position as shown here. What's happening at that point is the damper is closed to minimize the airflow that's going through the filters. When you start up your dust collector, the optimum goal is to pull the dust or fume off of the process that you're dealing with. As I stated earlier, your dust collector will come in at the startup setting. What you'll want to do is turn your dust collector on, turn your machine on, and as you start your process, slowly release the damper and open it up until you see the dust and fume disappear from the process that you're dealing with. At that point, that is your startup setting. That's where you need to leave it locked in place and move on to the next part of the procedure. One of the next items I'd like to cover with you about the Amada controller and the setup is the differential pressure meter that's on the front of your controller, the readings that are on it, how to set the different set points of the collector. Now I'd like to start with giving you a basic definition of what differential pressure is. Whenever your dust collector is collecting dust, this controller is reading the difference in pressure between the clean side of the filter and the dirty side of the filter. And when that pressure gets built up to a certain point, the setting that you're getting here, the reading that you're getting here is telling you that that filter is beginning to get stopped up and needs more airflow. So at that point, based off your settings in the controller, what happens is the clean air system kicks on, starts blowing or pulsing air into the top of the filter and getting the dust released from the filter elements and allowing more airflow to go through the collector. So what I'd like to cover with you now is the settings on the differential pressure meter, how to get to those settings and what each one represents. So what you would first do is go in, push your set button, hold it for 2 seconds, and that puts the meter into programming mode. First one that you see here would be the high pressure alarm setting. This one tells you when the filters need to be changed out. When it gets to that setting, it will not go back below that when the cleaning system kicks on. The next item will be your low pressure. This is when your cleaning system is cleaning. When it gets itself back down to that point on the differential pressure reading, it will stop the cleaning system and everything will shut back off. The next setting would be your high differential pressure. This one is when it gets to this point on your meter, the actual cleaning system will kick on and start cleaning your filters until it gets back down to the low setting. The next item would be the units and what this controller is reading. You have the option of either inches or kilopascals. The next setting would be the security code that you can put in here. You can build in several different codes to keep people out of it, keep people from changing the settings if you want to. The last item would be to calibrate your meter to where it's reading 0 pressure whenever nothing's happening with the blower or the filter cleaning system. So to change that, to calibrate the meter, you'll basically hold the up and down arrows at the same point in time until the set parameter quits flashing. At that point, your meter is calibrated. From there, what we would do is turn the programming meter out of programming mode, turn the blower on, and see what your differential pressure reading is at that time.
Hi, my name's Mike Hughes. I'm a field service tech with Canfield APC. If you have any problems after the installation that we could help you with, there's a number on the front of this unit that you can call. You're not going to get an automated message. You're going to get a real person. We're here to help. We want to get this thing up and running as quickly as possible and with little or no downtime. If we can do it over the phone, that's great. If not, we can send a service tech to your facility. Again, our number is right on the front of the controller. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to call.
The next thing I'd like to show you is the filter change-out procedures. When you're changing out dirty filters, these are actually new filters, so you're not going to be able to see the process. But a lot of times what I recommend doing is turning your controller over to manual pulse when the blower's not on and letting the filters be pulsed down by the compressed air system for a certain number of cycles. Basically turn it over to there, let it run through several cycles to make sure that all the dust is getting pulsed off the filter so that you can remove a filter that is as light and as clean as possible. And you turn that back off before you open the door to do the filter change out. As I said a minute ago, these are new filters, so basically what I'm going to do is show you how to drop the clamp bars, pull the filter out, and put a new one in. One of the things we like to remember for our customers is that our goal is to not to have anyone have to get inside the collector to do a filter change out. So on the GSP6 style of collector, what you have is 3 filters deep, so you can't reach the 3rd filter without getting into the collector. So we have this nice filter removal pole on the side of the collector that comes with it. You basically take the pole off of the hanger, extend the pole out, slide it into the collector and reach the back filter with the handle that's on the bottom of the pan, and pull it out to the point where you can reach it, get it, and remove it from the collector itself. A couple of things I'd like to discuss with you in regards to maintenance and also in conjunction with the filter change out for the main filters would be the PAMIC filter and also the filter regulator filter. The PAMIC filter is the filter that cleans the air lines that give you the differential pressure reading. It ensures that there's no dust getting into those air lines. The best way to locate this PAMIC filter is to find the dirty air high pressure sticker on the outside of the dust collector, and this filter will be located on the fitting that's on the inside of the collector at the same location. You can take that filter off of that fitting, tap it against the side of the dust collector, get all the dust out of it, make sure that you're getting good airflow through it. The other item I'd like to discuss would be the small filter that's in the water oil collection reservoir on the bottom of the regulator. Pull down, you turn, pull the bulb off, quick twist, and then you can take this filter off and make sure that you've got a good clean filter. One of the design aspects of the new GSP stock collector is the new quick lock drawer that we have designed into the process. When it comes to changing out the dust drawer and emptying the dust drawer once it gets full, we wanted to make that process as simple as possible. So basically what you have to do is you stick your boot under the handle, you unlock the drawer, slide your drawer out. At that point you would just pick your drawer up and dump it into whatever container you wanted to dump your contaminant dust into or your material. And once you're done, the handle's in the upright position. Basically all you do is shove the drawer into place until it seats itself on the back of the housing. Stand up, step on the handle, lock it into place, and walk away.
So there you have it. Everything you need to know to properly run your air filtration system.
And remember, damper your collector at startup, and progressively open your damper and move your differential pressure settings as needed to achieve the final goal of removing dust and fumes from your process.
And if you do that properly, Your filters will last for a long time and they'll run with very little maintenance. And our aftermarket department can provide you with all the parts you'll ever need.
If you need any technical service assistance at all, please don't hesitate to call us on our technical service assistance number, which is located on the face of the integrated controller on your collector.
I'm Greg Schreier.
And I'm Brian Richardson. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy your Farr Go Series collector.